even know our names, but labels don't mean.
Okay, well, today I have Miss Brianne Hannah with me, and she is recording from her truck, which looks so cool. Looks like you're in a nightclub back there.
Basically.
I met Brianne through my friend Doris, who I just did a podcast episode with. She was teaching some heels classes, and she was talking about how awesome this Lady Letto's was, and she shared that you were having a class, and I was like, "Ooh, let me check this out." So I went and I met you, and it was a really fun experience. I don't remember which class my first one was. Um, and then I started following you, and I don't know, I could tell like you have like a good story that I want to hear and like share with people, because just your message at the second one that I went to was all about confidence. And I forget, I think you had a lady there who was like a plus size model and was like sharing
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
and you guys
Uh-huh.
like just shared some
It was
really
like the curves and confidence
yes,
class. Yeah.
yes, I loved that. And I just thought it would be important to talk about. So I wanted to have you on the show. And we tried to do this last year and it didn't work out, but thank you for
Girl.
coming on.
Thank you for having me. I'm so glad we're able to finally get it like to work out because scheduling is really hard.
Yes, it is. Well,
But
thank you for showing up.
I'm really like excited for you and this podcast and what you're trying to do and share with the world because it is great to have a platform for women to speak about like different topics.
Yeah.
So this is really cool and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. I just want to share like normal people doing normal but cool stuff. Like I like to be encouraged by people that I know, or like people around me. I don't care about celebrities and what they do necessarily. I
Right.
just want to know what like the cool girl next door is doing to be awesome and push herself. And so I just wanted to have you on and share a little bit about who you are and what you do. So go ahead and just start talking. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Where do I start? So my name's Brianne Hannah. Everybody kind of just calls me Bree. That's pretty much it. Lady Letto's, wow. It's been like 6 years. I began Lady Letto's in 2017 and honestly had no intentions of starting a whole brand, starting a whole like movement, a whole community. Like I really just wanted to have a safe space that I felt like I can express myself.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that was because during that time in 2017, I was going through a lot. Like emotionally, I was in a really bad relationship and it was unhealthy. And I had a lot of stressors going on at that time. And I had taken a dance class in Sacramento, which was a heels class by a very popular group right now. Um, but there were just nobody in the class that looked like me. There was
Mm-hmm.
nobody that I felt I could relate to. There was nobody who like had like no experience, like no technical experience. And honestly, I didn't really like the music, which is no shade to them. It just was not my style.
Yeah.
And the class was fun. It was cool. I enjoyed like being around other people and I enjoyed moving my body, but it just didn't feel like me. And so I went to a couple classes and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm not really feeling it. But I was inspired by a lot of the classes in LA.
Mm.
And I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, I would love to do something like that or go to a class like that. But I mean, who's going to be going to LA every week? You know, like,
Yeah.
honestly, that was not realistic. So I just thought, like, well, I kind of can create a couple cool moves here and there. And I was like, well, let me see about starting my own class, you know? And so at the time, I was actually teaching kickboxing.
Ah, okay.
So I was working at a kickboxing studio and I was talking to a couple coworkers about it. And she was like, girl, you should do it, you know? And she's like, just go for it. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know where to start. Like, I don't know anything about starting a class or anything like that. And she's like, well, just see about like renting a space and select a time and just do it. So I found a space because I didn't know like the process of how to rent a space. So I really had to just like look around in our local community in
Mm.
Sacramento. And I started at the Sierra 2 Center. So if you guys are not familiar with Sierra 2, it is I want to say it's like in downtown side, but more of like a midtown area.
Hmm.
I forget the name of the street, but it's by Sac City College.
Okay.
And shout out to Sac City, I went there. um, so yeah, I started there and they helped me like get the class registered and whatever. And then I created a flyer and I posted the flyer there, and I was going to Sac State at the time, and I posted the flyer around at Sac State. And honestly, I was not really expecting much to happen from that. I was kind of like, oh, maybe a couple people show up. A lot of my coworkers kind of came.
Hmm.
Um, and my friend Sabrina, she actually helped me kind of start it because I really did not have the confidence in myself at that time to feel like I could do it on my own.
Hmm.
So I think if it hadn't been for her being willing to like go in with me on it and like really start it, um, it probably never would have even came about.
Mm.
So we would meet at her house, go through some like choreography in her living room, trying to figure out moves to put together and whatnot. And we had something, so we created like a little promo video and posted it on Instagram
Oh, I love
and,
that.
and just shared it. And back in the day, like the lighting was terrible, the camera quality was trash, the video looking back, it was horrible, but it was a start.
You got to start
And
somewhere.
yeah, basically. And that's what it was. So I had my first class and a good chunk of people came out. Like,
Oh, nice.
yeah, it was pretty packed out. We had like some champagne and stuff. And it was just a fun time and getting to share like my creative side. But those were the beginning blocks of Lady Letto's. And from there, it just evolved. It evolved. And Sabrina started teaching like twerk classes, so we used to
Mm.
offer twerk classes. But we're both moms. She's a
Hmm.
mom as well, and her schedule just got very demanding, very crazy, so she was not able to be a part of it as much. So by that time, I already was kind of like in the zone of like, okay, I know what I'm doing a little bit now. Like, let's just kind of keep going. But I really wanted Lady Letto's to feel like a party. As you can tell, I
Hmm.
love vibes. But I wanted to feel like a party. I wanted to feel like not so much like a class, but I wanted it to feel like you could be yourself there. Like you were just
Hmm.
getting a bunch of your girls coming together and learning some cool steps and then dancing at the end of the night.
Yeah.
And that's really what Lady Letto's like began with, because I wanted, more importantly than to, I guess, like blow up or whatever, like that was not even a thought in my mind back then. I just wanted a community. I
Yeah.
wanted to offer a space for others who felt like me.
Hmm.
And that was what happened.
That's so cool because it is hard to find sometimes the community in the dance community that fits you. And if you
Right.
feel like an outsider, it's awkward or you've never done this before, it's so uncomfortable. So it's so much pressure, I feel like, for people that aren't dancers. So it's nice to be in
Oh,
a comfortable
oh, for sure.
space, right? So yeah, that's what I felt like at your classes that I went to for sure. It was fun.
Oh,
So were you not a dancer before 2017?
so
Or did you do some dancing?
technically, no. Um, I never took technical classes. Like I never had ballet, jazz, hip hop, all that training. I kind of took classes like here and there throughout my life, but I would say
Okay.
probably on one hand, like how many classes I took.
Oh, okay.
I did cheerleading. So I did
Okay.
cheerleading, for competitive cheerleading, for like, I don't know, 15 years or something,
Mhm.
gymnastics, all types of sports and stuff. So I was already very active,
Yeah.
but dance was always like a part of me. Growing up, I remember just performing at all of our family functions. They would have me perform at Christmas parties, my birthday parties. Like I would get my friends or my cousins, and we would get together, try to find like little matching outfits.
That's so
And I would
cute.
throw some choreography on us, cut some music. And back at the time, it was like cassette tapes and
Yeah.
I was recording music from the radio.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I love
So
it.
I used to do that back then growing up, and I had no idea like those were the foundations
Mm-hmm.
of me doing what I was going to end up doing later on.
Yeah.
And so I would just learn like dance moves from MTV, watching like Britney Spears, NSYNC. I knew all of their choreography from the videos. I would just, watch them over and over and over. I was so inspired by like Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, all the greats. So that's kind of how I learned. I was always able to like see something and just be able to pick it up if I practice it enough.
Mm-hmm.
So when it came to dance, I really had no experience other than just what was circulating in my mind in my creative space. So then in high school, I was on a hip hop team at the first high school I went to, and it was cool, but like somebody else ran it. We kind of just did their thing and what they wanted to do. But then the following year, I transferred to a new school, and they did not have a dance team. They had a cheer team, which of course I was on, but I wanted to do a dance team because it's very different than cheerleading.
Yeah.
And at the time, they wouldn't allow us to have a dance team. They only wanted it to be a cheer team. So I said, well, can we have a dance club? So I
Oh, there you go.
created a hip hop dance club, which is crazy because at the time, like I was more into hip hop. So it wasn't like the sultry, like sexy type of vibes, hair whips and all that,
Yeah.
like I do now. It was very much more hip hop. And so I created that, and we made like little jackets and spray painted them with our names on it.
Oh.
It was so cool. It was so fun. So then in college, I was a part of the dance team in college at Sac City, and I loved it because the the girls on the team, like we all co-collaborated in creating choreography. So it was really cool to have that element because some of those girls had different experiences, like dance wise, that I
Mm-hmm.
didn't have. So being able to learn from them taught me like different ways to move. It taught me how to integrate different people's ideas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So those were kind of the building blocks of my dance career. I really had no like technical experience.
Well, you could have fooled me. I thought you've been dancing forever. I was like, she knows what she's doing.
No, and
Oh
that's
my gosh.
honestly why I say like anybody can do it,
Yeah.
like I truly believe you don't need to have any experience. If you are passionate about it or you enjoy it, like anybody can learn.
Mm-hmm.
And it was then later on in my adulthood that when I started taking those heels classes, I signed up for a workshop, and it was, oh, I can't remember the girl's name whose workshop it was, but it was in the Bay Area. And this was like my first workshop. There were probably like 40, 50 dancers there. I felt so uncomfortable because everybody kind of was killing it. I
Yeah.
was in a thick, chunky heel. Like, I did not start off wearing a stiletto. I had a
Yeah.
thick, chunky heel. And oh my God, I had no lines. I had no cool tricks. Like, when I tell you I was a beginner, I was a beginner. So literally, if I can do this, anybody can do it.
Yep. It's true.
And that class, I mean, I was terrible. I was in the back. I looked a hot mess. I wish I could find the footage because we didn't record stuff like that back then.
Well, that's pretty much me in all these classes as well. But I'm like, I'm just gonna keep going.
Yeah, but you know what? It started something, and it
Mm-hmm.
really inspired me by watching all the other talent in the room. It inspired me, and I was like, I want to get like that. Like, what
Yeah.
do I need to do? I would message choreographers on Instagram, like, what can I do to make lines? What can I do to get my flexibility? And
Yeah.
some would actually respond back. One of the people was Cisco. If you know Cisco
The
on
rapper Cisco?
Cisco choreography,
Oh, I
the
don't know who that
dancer.
is.
He's a pretty famous dancer choreographer out here in LA,
Oh, okay.
and this was kind of back in his like startup. before he like really blew up out here.
Okay.
And he actually used to message me and send me like videos of stretches I can do, working on turns, because I didn't know how to turn. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have any technique in that. Um, and that really, really helped me and like, inspired me to train. And a lot of it just came from training outside of the studio, not just when you go and take classes.
Mm-hmm.
So that was kind of
That's
like,
pretty cool.
yeah, how I started to progress.
So, what do you think it was that like drew you to the heels kind of thing, like the dancing and the
Um, so that first class I took, because again, I was like more into hip hop, but that first dance class that I took that I said was just not really my vibe was more of like a NBA style of dance. So it
I don't
kind of
even
had
know what that means. Like,
if you have ever watched like a Sacramento Kings dance performance or something, like it was very much NBA kind of poppy, mixed
oh,
with
I see what you mean.
jazz.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was cool. It was fun. I loved some of the elements about it, but it wasn't like my vibe again. But when I saw the classes in LA, like Aaliyah Janelle, her heels classes are what like really inspired me. And Aisha Francis, those kind of classes inspired me watching them on Instagram when they first kind of started. And I was like, so what if I took that type of dance and just threw it into a heel? And then I was like, and then we throw in some lights, call it a party, and, like just record it, see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. But it was being in a heel made me feel sexy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it made me feel confident. It made me feel fearless. It made me feel powerful. It made me feel a lot of things I didn't feel outside of the heel, like in my daily life.
Yes.
And I loved that feeling and I wanted more of that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you mix in being surrounded by supportive women, that, oh my gosh, was like a
Yes.
recipe for success,
Yes.
because I was like, I want more of this community. I want more of this um, encouragement and beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what appealed me to heels was just how it made me feel at first. I mean, of course, I was in a chunky heel, so I didn't feel that sexy, but I felt sexy nonetheless.
Yes. I think there's something about heels that is very like vulnerable
Yeah,
and that's why I think the supportive people like never even met these other people before and they're just cheering you on because they know how vulnerable it is to get on the floor and like twerk and like gyrate
right,
and feel sexy and feel all this
right.
stuff, which I don't feel like you get as much from other types of dancing. Even if you're
No,
terrible, people are like, get it, yes, and you look amazing and sexy, and it is very encouraging. And I
yeah,
totally get that feeling too, because I've experienced that myself.
yeah, and that's really what dance is about. Because
Yeah.
like dance is an expression,
Mm-hmm.
dance is an art form, and it's used to communicate the feeling of the music, whatever that person is singing, the melodies, whatever that, your body is translating that into physical form.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about the combination like that, it's so much more than just steps. And I think that's why dance is so powerful and impactful.
Mm-hmm.
It can lift your spirits, it can make you cry, it can make you feel like inspired. It has the ability to do so much more than just movement.
Yes, so true. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just have to find your style that of dance that gets you going. But I do think
Right.
every dance style can get you in that elevated mood and make you feel better. And even if you're terrible, you're just dancing out for like 5 minutes, it boosts
Right.
your mood, It's
It
very important.
seriously does because I remember like back when I would be in my room freestyling. Freestyling is really what got me way more comfortable in myself and in my body
Mm.
because I hated freestyling. So when I was at Sac State, um, my major is psychology, and so
Okay.
that's what I went to school for. But again, I had to throw in some electives, so I was like, let me take dance classes.
Mm-hmm.
So I took dance class, and in that class, they made us freestyle.
That's the
at the
hardest
end.
thing in the world.
Yes, and it was to like drums to live music because it was an Afro-Caribbean class.
Yeah, okay, that's awesome.
And I was like, this is so weird. It was a circle, everyone was looking at you. And
Mhm.
I just remember the first time being so terrified to go in the middle of the circle. And it was crazy because the first time I went in the middle of the circle, it was like I blacked out. I had no idea what I did. I just
Oh,
remember people cheering and yelling and feeling like amazing
yeah.
afterwards, you know?
Mhm.
And then my teacher was talking to me about it afterwards, and she was like, "You're really good at this. You know, you should look into being a dance major as well." And at that time, I was like, "Yeah, no, not really. Like, I'm not really. I'm trying to get done with school and
Yeah.
just keep it pushing. You know, like I was not trying to go down the dance road. It was kind of a hobby." And I started freestyling more in my room, but it was looking at myself in the mirror and moving to the music, touching and feeling my body is what made me feel way more appreciative of my body and how I move. You know, at that time, I was a mom. So I felt like I had to be a mom and do mom things. And I
Mhm.
needed to go to school, get that over with, get my career, get married, and then just work my 9 to 5. And like, that's my life, you
Mhm.
know? But that just never was really me. But that's what I felt was expected of me. So when I was freestyling, it taught me new ways to move. It taught me how to love that person that was looking at me. It taught me to appreciate my body and how it carries me through my day. It taught me how to love myself because it gave life to
Mhm.
somebody else, you
Mhm.
know? And I just realized like I needed to start living for me. And
Mhm.
if what I wanted to do with my life did not look like a typical mom, then so be it, you know? So I think those were kind of the foundation points of building confidence for me. Along with, you know, I started to do self work, doing journaling, reading different self help books, all of those types of things to help build my confidence because it didn't just come naturally. Like I was not
Mhm.
just this Lady Letto's that you see now, you know, and even
Mhm.
sometimes during certain seasons, I don't have that type of confidence. You
Yeah.
know, it's like a continuous thing that you always have to work on because
Yep.
your life is always changing. Things are always happening, and you kind of have to learn how to navigate that.
Yeah, having confidence in all the parts of your life and where it is, it definitely changes and you have to push yourself. And again,
Yeah.
I've always said like confidence isn't an arrival, it's a journey. You're constantly
Yes.
changing and growing. And you do have to push yourself and realize everything you do pushes you a little bit farther
Yeah.
and get more confidence. I was talking about on my very first podcast episode about how it's kind of like going to the gym. You know, you might start out with
Yes.
your no weights, your body movements, then you go to 2 pounds, then you go to 5 pounds, and then you go to 10 pounds. But that's really what it is.
You
It's
slowly start
yeah.
increasing it. Yeah.
And I really like what you were talking about going to your room and freestyling and looking at yourself. I do not freestyle ever, and I probably should. But there's just like something about looking at yourself in the mirror and dancing that is like, again, extremely vulnerable and extremely hard to do, especially as a woman, because
Right.
I don't know, we're supposed to look a certain way and we're supposed to
Yeah.
present ourselves these ways. And I know we don't like ourselves or we like certain things, but it's that self love of learning to self love yourself, I guess, and just staring
Yeah,
at
it
yourself.
is.
It's so hard. I
It's
sometimes that's
so
the hardest
hard.
part of the class is
And
just
it's
doing that.
funny because so originally that was not a part of Lady Letto's class. Like my first class, I did not start doing that. I think you remember me doing I call it
Mhm.
mirror magic now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Um, so that was not a part of the first class. I saw a Galen Hooks workshop, and she kind of had something similar, but it was more of like she was just talking to them and sharing while they were looking at themselves in the mirror. So I kind of took that along with things I learned in school with psychology. And I was like, oh, what if I like merge the two or whatever? And then that's when I created the mirror magic. And so the first time I did it, a lot of girls looked at me like, you want me to do what? You want me to stare at myself and
Uh-huh.
move my body in front of all these other girls? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's really weird and uncomfortable
Yes.
sometimes for many, but I've seen so many people like burst into tears
Mhm.
afterwards. People just feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm in tune with myself. Or, you're going through so much in your day-to-day life that you never get a moment to like check in with
Yeah.
how you're doing. Like,
Mhm.
am I okay? I just got into a car accident, or I've been running around with all these kids, or I just had a test and maybe didn't feel so confident about it, or whatever it is that's going on in your life. Sometimes we don't take enough time to check in with ourselves. And so doing mirror magic for me was like giving that opportunity for others along with myself to get mentally prepared and to be like, are we okay? What do we need
Mhm.
right now? Like, do we just need to be silent and not move? Do we need to just kind of like move our body and flow? Do I need to touch and feel and hug and love on myself? Like those
Mhm.
things are very real things. And I think as women, we don't do that enough.
Oh, definitely don't do that enough. And the way I was raised was very conservative Christian. So, like, anything to do with sexuality or my own sexuality was just, you don't even wear sexy panties at
Oh
all
yeah.
because you don't even want to go there. So, like,
Oh
for
yeah.
me, it's so hard to present myself sexy and feel that. But then I do feel sexy sometimes. But seriously, those parts are the hardest parts of heels classes for me. And
Yeah.
I just push myself through it. I like doing it. I have a lot of back problems, and so I can't always do all the movements and things hurt. And I have the worst time remembering choreography. Like my brain does not compute at all
That's
to
a real
memorize
thing.
things. I
Yeah.
literally can't. It takes so long. So like hour-long classes, I'm like, oh God, I got the first part and that's it. But I'm just like, just
Yeah.
do it. Just freaking go. If you look like shit, who cares? It's not about that. It's about that I'm pushing myself and I'm experiencing just that next level of self-love or whatever it is. But I really like that mirror thing that you did for sure.
Yeah. And I can kind of relate to what you're saying about like the family dynamic of that, because
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of how my family was.
Yeah.
So, especially my mom, when I first started, she was like, "You want to do what?"
Uh-huh.
She's like, "Why do you want to move like that? Why do you have to dance like that?
Uh-huh.
Like, you're gonna post that for
Yep.
everybody to see?"
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, she was not on board with it. And it was kind of like me branching off in some
Yeah.
ways from how we typically grew up, and my family learning to be okay with it. So when we did our first like performance, the studio that I was teaching at did a showcase. And so I invited my mom and my sister and my family to come and see. And we had on these tights that had like the little holes so your butt kind of shows out of the tights. And then we had like bodysuits that your booty was hanging out in the bodysuit. Oh my gosh. My mom
Oh.
was like, "What are you guys wearing?" But she was like amazed by the performance. And
Oh.
she's like, "Wow, that's really cool. I wish you didn't have to move like that, but it's really cool." And now we've gotten to a better place. She's way more supportive of it now. But, I definitely did get a little bit of backlash
Oh,
when
I'm
I
sure.
first started out. Yeah, for sure. And then not even like just from my family side, like different places. So at that time when I first started my classes, it started to get a little bit of popularity, slowly but surely. And so some dancers from other studios would come and take my classes, and then they would post their videos or whatever. And I saw that they would like take their videos down, and I'm like, why'd you take your video down? Like, you didn't like it or something? And they would tell me like their studio that they typically dance at didn't like the video that they posted because of how they were moving was
Mm.
inappropriate.
Oh, yeah.
So they made them take the video down because they were a part of that dance studio.
Oh, okay.
And then, I mean, I've had other people just not even allow me to rent their spaces because of the type of dance style that we did,
Yeah.
so it was not the trend like it is now back then. It was
Yeah.
not popular, it was not cool to be sexy like
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
Well, it's probably tied to, you know, that people don't respect like strippers or dancers, things like that. And that's not what it's about. I remember I first took a pole class and I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this right
Oh, that's
now.
a sport. That's
Yeah,
like I give them props because
I could not do it.
that's not easy.
No,
That is not
not at
easy.
all. I was like, this is I was bruised. I could barely pull myself up, but it was just, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this right now, but I did it. And then,
Look at
learned
you.
along the way, but I just seriously doing anything sexy is like, oh God. I remember the first time I posted a boudoir shoot picture that I took
Oh
on my
yeah.
Instagram or whatever. I was like shaking as I'm posting. I'm like, oh my God, what if somebody sees this? I don't know what to do. It's like terrifying
Girl,
to me to post a
I'm
video.
trying I've never done one and I'm trying to do one because
What?
I'm like I love the photos when I see people like post them. Like they capture
Mm-hmm.
you so beautifully. Like it's so far beyond sex,
Yeah.
It's not even about like just exposing yourself. It's about the
Yeah.
beauty of loving your body.
Yeah, it was the same thing with the dancing too. It doesn't have
Yeah.
to be a sex thing. It doesn't have to be inappropriate. I don't know why we think that it is, but it is. It's sexual. But reclaiming your own sexuality like that and just being like, this is for me, and I don't give a shit who listens or sees it
Right.
or says something
Right.
about it is pretty powerful too. I mean, I also feel like being like a bit of a bigger person, it's even harder to post things or being plus size,
Oh
you know what I
yeah.
mean? It's like I'm sharing my cellulite on the internet and some people are gonna like it or they're
Exactly.
not, and it's like everybody feels that way
So
about themselves probably, but
that's a thing because I used to get flagged.
yeah, I've heard that's a
Because
big thing.
obviously like I'm a bigger girl, so more skin, don't matter what I'm wearing, we can wear the same outfit as
Yeah.
someone else who may be smaller, but I'm gonna show more skin because I have more body like to show.
Hmm.
So we could be wearing the same thing, but I
Yeah.
probably would get flagged over them. And
Yeah.
so a lot of my videos used to get flagged for inappropriate context,
Yeah.
sexual nudity. Like I used to be like, Instagram, what? I mean, obviously now you can post pretty much
Yeah.
anything on the
Yeah.
internet, but it was not the case before. And it was very like disheartening
Yeah.
because sometimes it made me be like, well, maybe I should cover up more. Maybe I should. But then at that point, I'm limiting my creative process and
Hmm.
my ability to express myself freely.
Yeah. I know it's still
Yeah.
a thing though. People are getting flagged more. Plus size people get flagged more than straight size people for sure on Instagram
Yeah.
still with all of that. It's so weird, but part of being plus size, I guess.
Yep.
I mean, props to you for keep posting because that's hard to do because you're just self-doubting yourself the whole time, right? Like, should I do
Always.
this? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Always. But you know what? The thing that I really the thing that really kept me going was the women who took my class or people who never took my class but saw like the videos and they would comment or they would DM me and
Hmm.
they would be like, "Girl, how do you do that?"
Yeah.
Like they were so inspired, they were so in awe. They were like, "I want to come take a class. Like, how do I sign up?" I had one girl after class like talk to me, set aside, and she just bawled. She was like, "Thank you so much for this space. Thank you for talking to us the way that you talk to us and allowing us to express ourselves because I've been in this situation and I felt so broken, but taking your class gave me the confidence that I can do more or I can change my situation and circumstance."
Hmm.
And it was literally those types of comments and messages that kept me going when I would get so much backlash, when
Yeah.
I would get hate, or when I would just doubt myself, because a lot of it sometimes too can be internal. And,
No, for
we
sure.
all have those
Yeah.
negative thoughts that start circulating. And I literally would have to shut that off and be like, no, what I'm doing is making a difference. And that's really what I set out to do. I didn't set out to start a business. I didn't set out to start this huge brand and empire. I just started out because I wanted a community and a safe space. And that's what it was doing. So I was like, you know what? I got to keep going. There were times where I would be
Hmm.
tired. I would work a full shift. After I started working at the kickboxing studio and I graduated from Sac State, I started working at psychiatric ward. So I would work a full shift in a psych ward and then rush and get home, change, get my lighting equipment, and head to the studio for class. And, it was like, finally, like I can release everything here. And it just was that space I needed, and I think other people needed to
Mhm.
let go.
Definitely. I mean, feeling comfortable in those kinds of spaces is important. Having representation of different body sizes and all of that stuff is important. I can't tell you how many
Yeah,
classes I've been to where I'm like, this is the tiniest person ever, and there's not anybody over a size 4 in this whole thing, and I can't believe I'm here right now. And it really does make a difference to see people like you doing things, and just encourages people, you know, to continue doing it. I'm like, well, she can do it, I can do it, all those
right.
things.
Yeah,
And it's hard to keep going, but it is a thing. I've had people tell me like, you're inspiring me to do all these things because of all the stuff you post. I'm like, really? I don't know. I'm not even that good at it. Just do it. But if
yeah,
I can encourage someone else because I didn't have that in my own life, then I'm happy, because
right.
the feeling of
Of
like
course.
freedom and confidence that you get from doing all these things is so important. And it's
And
special.
it doesn't have to be much, because
They
what
really,
may
yep.
seem normal to you is not normal or easy to
Mm-hmm.
somebody else.
Yep.
Like to me, like the fact that you were like, talk about yourself and what you've done. I'm like, what have I done? Because I don't know. Like, because
Hard to
to me,
brag about yourself a little bit, isn't it?
it is. Because, well, I think for women, we're not really used to being able to brag about yourself and
Mm-hmm.
it be okay, like a
Yep.
thing. But then also, like, to me, some of the things I just think are regular because I would just do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think like it's anything, but to somebody else, it could be
Mm-hmm.
like, whoa, this is amazing, you
Yes,
know?
definitely.
So you never know, like when you're just operating in the things that you love to do, you never know who you're going to inspire. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that can be attached to some of our purpose in life,
Mm-hmm.
It's not always a black and white road. It can
Yeah.
be full with different shades of gray and color and flowers and all
Mm-hmm.
types of other stuff. And how you get to where you get to kind of can be, I like this, for instance, I never thought I would be doing this. And even though I've taken kind of a back road to Lady Letto's lately, it's all starting to come around full circle. So I'm really excited about that.
I think that's so awesome. I love it. I was thinking about, what would you say to somebody who's maybe not a dancer like at all, like never done it, and is just very uptight and like scared of all of that, any of that? What would you say to like encourage them to try something new or go to a heels class or something? What would your advice be?
So it's funny because I had a lady who did a private session with me. Um, she was an older woman and she was getting married,
Mm,
and she was just like very stiff, very proper, very like, I don't want to touch my body. I don't want to move my body in a sexy way, but I want to learn how. And I thought that was the most courageous thing of her,
mm-hmm.
because growing up in the time era she grew up in,
Yep.
like I know how hard it was for us, but I can
Yep.
only imagine during her time,
Mm-hmm.
exposing and flaunting your sexuality was not even, you could not do that,
Definitely not.
So for her to take that step in reaching out to me to do a private session, I was like, wow, I'm inspired by you, because that
Mm-hmm.
takes a lot of courage and confidence. But
Definitely.
I said to her, I'm not expecting you to look like anything. I just want you to feel comfortable with yourself at the end of the session. I just want you to get what you came here for. I don't care if you remember a step.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you do it perfectly or not. I don't care if you have flex feet, and that's the thing, y'all better point your toes. But I didn't care about any of that, because for her and where she was at and what she wanted, it was just about the experience and getting in tune with herself
Mm-hmm.
on her in her like sensual sexy side as a woman. And that's really what I just wanted her to do and experience.
Yeah.
And she did. And it was funny because later on I ended up choreographing for her wedding, like a
Oh, that's
little
cool.
wedding party thing. So it was really cool. But I would just tell somebody who's looking to start to just start. Just do it. You don't have to
Mhm.
post it. You don't have to share it. You don't got to tell nobody you went or you
Mhm.
did it. Now, if you want to record, I always recommend recording because I wish I had recordings from when I was a beginner
Yeah.
because I would love to be able to share that with you guys. But it's so good to reflect on that. It's so good to
Mhm.
see like the progress because sometimes we just get in routine of things and we don't see how much we're actually progressing, you know? And when you look at old videos or photos, that's when you see, oh, I've changed from this to this. Like that's where you can really see the comparison. So I would say like just start. Just find something that you're interested in, whether it's dance or not dance, like take the risk
Yeah.
because you never know, it can turn out beautifully. And if it doesn't, then you've tried something and you know, okay, this
Yep.
doesn't work, it's not for me.
That's okay.
That's
I don't know
fine.
why that's so hard to do, but
You
it
find
is.
something else, right? Exactly.
Mhm.
Like rock climbing,
Right?
not for me.
Not for me either. Not a thing. Running, not my
Not a thing,
thing.
but I love hiking. And
Yeah.
I used to be so terrified of hiking. And then when I finally went hiking, I was like, this is awesome. I love it. You know, and now I love hikes that, you know, go even higher and you have these crazy views and they're super
Mhm.
steep. And sometimes I'm dying on the way up, but it's when you get to the top that it's like,
Yep.
wow, this is all worth it, you know?
Mhm.
And I think that's kind of the same experience is if you try something new, who's to say that it's not going to all be worth it in the end?
I don't know why we hold ourselves back so much from these things and why
Oh,
it's such a big, brave thing to do, but it is, and we
it
need to
is.
do it. I can't
Yeah.
imagine just doing the same things I used to do all the time and who I would be versus who I am now. Like if I hadn't done some of these things, like if I hadn't gone salsa dancing when my friends begged me to go dancing with them, I was like, hell no, I've never even touched a boy. I hadn't kissed anybody. I hadn't had sex. I was nothing. And I was like terrified. And then I saw everyone having fun and I was like, I want to get good at this. I
Yeah.
could do it. And I did it. And then since then, I've done all kinds of things that I never thought I would do.
And
Just putting yourself out there.
that's really what
Mhm.
it is when you start something new or try something new in one area of your life, it slowly starts to branch off
Yep.
into other parts of your life because again, I was just going to school, I was just going to do the regular thing and then I tried this dance class and I was like, "Oh, I love this. I like
Mhm.
this." And then when she mentioned to me like pursuing it, I was like, it was always something in the back of my head, but I kind of just tuned it out. And then again, when I started watching all these dance videos on Instagram and I was inspired by it. So I ended up taking, while I was working at that kickboxing studio, I ended up taking a solo trip to Bali. And that was
Ooh.
my first solo trip out of the country.
Mm.
I know nothing about Bali. I don't speak the language. I don't look like them, you know? So I stuck out like a sore thumb. But honestly, as terrified as I was, because other people would be like, aren't you scared? Why are you going to do that? Like, what if this happens? What if
Mhm.
that happens? Like, what are you going to do in this scenario? Like, all the what ifs.
Yep.
And it really started to make me fearful and feel like, damn, do I want to do this? Should
Yeah.
I do this? Like, question yourself and your decision. And I was like, no, I'm going to do this because I want to go see what's over there.
Yes.
And if I don't go, I'm going to regret that probably years later. And
Mhm.
that was the trip. I think that started everything because after that trip is where I started to create Lady Letto's. After
Mhm.
that trip is where I was like, oh, I want to try hiking. Oh, I want to try this and that, like all different types of things. And it's part of life having
Yep.
those experiences and trying, maybe failing, trying again, trying something different, trying something new is what gets you to wherever it is that you are.
Yep. I had a solo trip for my first time ever last year and I was terrified.
Oh,
But
where'd
I
you
did
go?
it. I went to Costa Rica.
Oh, I want to
I
go
want to
there
go to
so
Bali
bad.
really bad. That's my next place. But I'm turning 40 and I'm not excited about
No
that.
way.
But yes. And I
Sporty
want to go
where,
to Bali
girl?
so bad.
You should. You should. It's super affordable too.
That's
Well,
what I
I
hear.
don't
Yeah.
know about anymore, but at least when I went in
I think it's
2017, it was.
I think it still is. It's just everything's more expensive, but something
Yeah.
about traveling by yourself too, especially as a woman, is scary
It
because people
builds
are
your
like, what if you get
confidence so
kidnapped? What
much.
if you get raped? What if you get murdered? Like, what if I do that here? What if that happens here? I don't know.
That happens every day here.
Literally.
Like the odds of that happening over there versus it happening here are usually a lot less.
Yes, exactly. But it's scary and you did it. And that's so awesome. I love that.
Yeah, you
So
just take
powerful.
precautions and
Yeah.
you got to live life.
Yep. I can't imagine just not doing anything. Who I would be for reals. And I think it's important to have people like you to keep sharing and have other guests on that talk about the things they do because it encourages people to do the things. If you can do it, I can do it, they can do it.
Anybody can do it.
Anybody
Yes.
can do it. Um, so you post or you shared that you're gonna have another class coming up. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to post this before that class or not. I'm gonna try. But
Uh-huh.
can you tell people where to find you and follow you and all that stuff?
Yes. So you can find me at Lady Letto's on Instagram. And then also ladylettos.com is my website. And then we're on TikTok, which is at
Oh, you
Lady
are?
Letto's too. All of them are at Lady Letto's.
Okay.
And mostly I post on Instagram. Oh, and then the YouTube channel. So a lot of the videos end up going on the YouTube channel. And then also I kind of do like vlogs. I'm so terrible at posting because it takes a long time to edit,
Yeah. Yeah.
which I have tons of footage that I'm gonna try to get up, especially from like my experience dancing here in LA. So there's gonna be videos coming soon. So you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also Lady Letto's. And yeah, my class, I'm going to be teaching in Sonoma at Lauren D Studio. I love that studio. Lauren is amazing. She's probably also another woman that you should have on your show. She teaches like fitness classes, but they are like fun. They look so fun. I have not been
Really?
able to take her class, but some of the classes I'm like, girl, I wish you were closer to me because it is awesome. But her story is amazing. Definitely a story of perseverance. And
Yeah.
so I love the energy that she has and she has developed with her students at her studio. So I'm going to be teaching there. This is my third time teaching there and I absolutely love it. And then I will be in Sacramento in March and I'm doing like a little birthday event
Mm-hmm.
slash concept video. And secret will probably be out by the time you post this. So it's going to be a boudoir shoot
Ooh.
and a boudoir video.
Well,
And
that's
then just
exciting.
like a little ladies' night party at the end.
Well, I definitely want to go to that because the
You
last one
should.
I went to last year was what was the single, what do you call it? Valentine's, not, what do you call it? Single Valentine
Oh,
something?
uh, not your ex or something like that.
I don't remember what you called it, something, but I went to that last year and I did not know that you were going to have a videographer. And I'm like, I'm scared. I saw that guy come in. I was like, what is he doing here? Oh my God. And then I was like, oh, I guess I'll do a video. And then I'm so glad I did because I have a
You did
video of
great.
that. And I was like, oh my God, I gotten so much better. And I actually look kind of cute. Look at
It looked like something, right? Because in
me.
your
Yeah.
head, you're like, I look crazy. But
Uh-huh.
when you actually watch it back, you're like, oh, it didn't look that bad.
Yep, it was
Yeah.
pretty cool. So that'll be really fun.
Yeah. And this
I
one, I really just want it to feel like a ladies' night. I want it to
mm,
be like sexy, moody, like it's going to be on location. It's going to be fun. It's not going to be just a regular class.
okay, well that's exciting. We're gonna have to share it on our Instagram, even if we don't get this episode out before that class. I would like to share
Oh,
it. So
for
send
sure.
send me your stuff. But um, well, I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to just like share or encourage before we hop off, but
um, I don't know. I would say my word of encouragement would just be do it. Just do it. And don't be afraid to be a beginner and start something new because it can be very frustrating. But with practice and patience, you're going to get there. And your journey is not always going to look like somebody else's journey. It's not going to look like my journey. It's going to be uniquely crafted for you and your experiences and your life. So just do the things that you love.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I loved having you on here and I can't wait for your next
Thank
class.
you. Thank
Thanks
you for
for
letting me
joining.
be a part of this. I am so excited for your podcast.
Well, I'm having fun doing it, even if I don't have that many like people listening, but I'm like, this
But
is
girl,
fun. So,
look at
who
you're
cares?
it just like me. You're
Yep.
starting. You're
Yep, I'm
starting.
starting.
So this is the baby steps.
It
You're
is
gonna
the
look
baby
back at
steps.
these videos and where you started and be like, oh dang, you know?
I don't care. At least I did it, right? And I got
Right.
to meet
But
some
more
awesome
importantly,
people.
it's what you're trying to share with
Mhm.
everybody. And
Yeah.
that's what the world needs.
Yes, I agree. Well, thank you so much. I can't wait
Thank
to see you
you.
again. And maybe we'll have you on again on another show someday.
Yeah, for sure. I'd love to be back.
Yeah, that'd be fun. All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you. I'll talk to you later, girl.
Bye.
Bye.
Dancing in the wind and rain.